Hey guys, back here from a Pat here. Guys, we are going deep today. Go get your cup of coffee or your beverage of choice. Grab a pen and paper and sit back, guys. Today, we're going to be going deep on these veggie beds. We're going to be doing some cucumber transplants, some pepper transplants, but not just transplanting, guys. I'm going to show you how I determine where I'm going to plant my plants based on the sun location, based on the type of soil, based on the water needs of each plant. And we're going to go really in a lot of detail on how I plant and the method to this madness. Anyway, guys, let's get started. Planting today. Oh, and we're going to be doing tons of herbs too, guys. There's a lot to learn today. If you guys missed yesterday's video, please go back and watch how I revitalize my soil prior to planting. Because guys, in order to get good healthy vegetables and fruit, it all starts with the soil. Anyway, so go back and watch that video, hit pause, just go back and watch that video and then come back here, guys. Lots to do today. Grab your notepad. Let's get started. Hey guys, back here from a Pat here. Finally, guys, the day has come that we're going to be transplanting some of the peppers that I started several months ago. As a matter of fact, some of them are actually blossoming now, as well as several plant starts that I bought. So it's spring. We're now in March, so now is a perfect time. Yesterday's video, I showed you how I cleared out most of my winter bed to make space, and also I showed you how I refresh my soil in between crops. First, let me show you what I have here. I have some spicy oregano. First time trying this new spicy oregano. I have several peppers that I started from seed. I have the banana goat pepper. I have the Trinidadian pimento pepper. Of course, I have my Scotch bonnet. And I have several bell peppers that I started from seed, the red and yellow bell peppers. As a matter of fact, some of them are already blossoming. You can see that one already has blossoms. A couple of them already have blossoms because it's been a while. It's been probably a good 2-3 months since I started these, and you can see they're definitely outgrowing their container. Also have jalapeno pepper here, and this is, I believe, blue basil. I think this is called blue basil. So those are just some of the things I'm going to be planting. Oh, and of course, guys, cucumbers. I haven't planted any cucumbers in the past couple years. Actually, I think I planted cucumbers last year, but then when I gave up on it, that's when it started fruiting. This is a bush variety. I've never grown a bush variety of cucumber, so we're gonna plant that. And then finally, I have, this is the normal thyme. I do have some Cuban oregano, also known as Jamaican broadleaf thyme, throughout the garden. As a matter of fact, here's some right here that's basically just popping up. They grow very easily from cutting, but I also want to plant just a regular thyme. This tends to take over an area, whereas the regular thyme, I can more control it. So there are a few things to think about. Oh, first, let me show you the bed. One of the beds that we're going to be planting in. Yesterday, I removed, this bed was completely taken over with nasturtiums. So yesterday, I removed the majority of the nasturtiums, and I actually showed how I revitalize the soil just to build it up to make it ready for the new crop. A few things to think about. The number one thing is water, right? What are the watering needs of the plant? So let's talk about cucumbers. Cucumbers like a lot of water. So you want to put cucumbers close to an area that you're going to have good irrigation. I do have drip irrigation in all these beds. And over there, I also have an overhead irrigation. Cucumber leaves don't necessarily like to be wet. So I'm going to put the cucumbers not too close to where the overhead spray is. But I'm going to make sure to put it close to a drip line to make sure it gets irrigated well. Cucumbers, if you look it up, cucumbers are good companion plants with oregano and thyme. That's what it says online. But guys, I don't go based on what's online because I know oregano and thyme, they're more Mediterranean crop and they prefer drier feed. So because cucumbers, melons, those things require a lot of water, you don't want to put it right against something that requires no water, because the one that requires less water is either going to drown, or if you give it too little water, the cucumbers are going to suffer. So what else do cucumbers like to be beside? They do very well with carrots. They do very well with green onions. So I think what I'm going to do is put it in this bed. This bed has carrots. This bed has a lot of green onions. The green onions will actually help to repel um, some of the pests that like cucumbers. Along this trellis, I do have tomatoes still going, and they're doing well, but there's a big gap in between. And plus, as I said, these are not the binding cucumbers, these are bush cucumbers. So this, I think, is a good location. It's still gonna get, the sun rises in the east here and comes over, so this entire bed gets really good sun. There's a little bit of shade from these palm trees, but this bed pretty much gets full sun. So I'm gonna put my cucumbers along this bed. This bed is basically empty except for some carrots. As a matter of fact, I need to check on these carrots. This is my first time really growing carrots, so uh but they still look really green. I'm not sure when these carrots are ready. Ooh, maybe we should just pull one out. Let's just pull one out. These are the sweet and sassy carrots. Let's see. Woo! Oh my gosh. I have carrots. Oh my gosh, this is a nice big carrot, guys. Wow, I wonder if these are all ready. All right, I have carrots. Okay, anyway, let me not get sidetracked, guys. I do get sidetracked. All right. So for cucumbers, we're gonna put our cucumbers here. I have 4 bushing cucumbers. Think I might put 2 here. I like to spread my things out. Another tip with transplanting, guys, I don't plant all of the same thing in one spot, because it makes it very easy for the pests that like that one thing to find it. If you guys remember my video from yesterday, I had tons of nasturtiums and zinnias in here. I have turmeric, I have more carrots, I have green onions, cabbages. So I literally, guys, maybe I, sometimes you say something and then it happens, but I literally didn't have any insect damage. I didn't have any pests. The only thing I had was leaf spot, which was because of fungus, because everything was just so heavily. There was like not enough airflow. But guys, I had great harvest, great production, no pests, literally no pests, for the first time in a long time, because I do plant a variety of everything. Then next we have several bell peppers. Bell peppers, scotch bonnet, pimento. Pimento pepper, guys, I've been trying to grow that pimento pepper for like 2 years now. I finally have good plants. You can see they're looking a little yellow because they've been in that little tiny pot with not much fertilizer or food. So we need to get those in the ground. Gonna plant my peppers. Where am I gonna plant my peppers? So my peppers are actually a fruit. Peppers are a fruit also, just like cucumbers are a fruit. I have a couple peppers here. Well, I had a few peppers here that did very well, but the nasturtiums basically, choked them out. I only have that one left, and it looks extremely pitiful right now. I don't know if I can cut it back and let it resprout. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a pimento and a couple bell peppers, a pimento, 2 bell peppers, and a Bahama goat along here. And then again, I'm gonna take some of these green onions and plant in between. I'm gonna put the oregano over here in this bed. So the oregano is gonna be in the bed with the cucumbers, but I'm gonna put it right along the front. This is actually another oregano. This is a Jamaican oregano. But then, because the only reason it looks this bad is because it was looking really, really pretty. But this bed was full of bok choys. As a matter of fact, you can see the seeds fell and there's a whole bunch of bok choys coming back up. So cucumbers, we want it to have good airflow. We don't want to get any fungus, but this is a bush. So I have peppers. Well, I'm gonna put 2 here. If the cucumbers find beetles find this, hopefully it won't find the other ones on the other side. So I'm gonna put 2 here and 2 on the other side. So for all the fruits that require full sun, I'm gonna make sure that I lay them out in these front beds, so that when the morning sun rises, it hits the morning sun, right? So you have to consider the fence. The fence, that's the east side. But in the morning, that side is shaded out because the sun rises in the east. So that side is shaded. You can see now it's evening time and you can see the sun is over there. So you want to do it on the west side. So when the sun rises, it's going to hit here. So all my cucumbers, my peppers, the fruit, I'm going to have them along the sunniest side. Um, Oregano, thyme, those are Mediterranean. They say they like full sun. But guys, here in Central Florida and even in South Florida, the sun is so hot that I find that giving them some partial shade is good. So um, I'm going to lay them in a spot that doesn't just consider the sun, but also considers the water it needs. Tomatoes, cucumbers, those like a lot of water, right? Those like a lot of water. However, oregano and thyme, they prefer less water. They're Mediterranean. You can go longer in between waterings. So I'm gonna make sure that even though they're in the same bed, I'm gonna make sure that they're at a spot where they're not gonna get the overhead water. They're away from the drip line. So they'll still get moisture, but they're not gonna get the direct wetness of the drip line. So that's another thing to consider. You can also consider putting herbs, especially, or flowers close to your tomatoes, your cucumbers, that will actually repel the insects. For cucumbers, it says that onions and oregano repels the insects that attack cucumbers. So do marigolds. I'm going to be planting some marigold seeds. As a matter of fact, I think I saw some marigold seedlings popping up because I did have marigolds in the bed before. So I'll just wait a little bit and then I'll transplant the marigolds. I can tell you guys, I had zero pest damage from all my tomatoes and all my stuff so far for the year because I think I had a ton of flowers. I had so much things mixing together. You can see I have turmeric and carrots and scallion and cabbage, everything in the same bed. That's how I like to do it, guys. I like to just go out and mix things up. So that's another thing. So think about the sun requirements, think about the water requirements, think about what goes well together, think about the soil requirements. Does it like wet soil? Does it like well draining soil? And those are all the things I'm considering and the things that you need to consider when you you transplant your seedlings. So now that I've kind of laid them out, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how. Let's plant a couple together, and then I'll show you how I plant them, and then I'll put everything in, and then I'll show you where I planted them. Okay, so let's do one together. So I put the soil down yesterday, heavily mulched it. So I'm just moving aside the mulch and digging my hole. And the soil is very rich, guys, because I actually fertilized the soil yesterday. Or I won't say fertilize, I just added some life to the soil. So let's take one of these little cucumbers. Oops. Oops. We're tangled up together. Yeah, take one of the cucumbers. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the good soil. Take the cucumber and just put this good soil around it because you know it's already revitalized. If you guys missed how I revitalized my soil, I literally just took half a bag of mushroom compost, about 1/3 bag of earthworm castings, and added I think I added some coffee grounds and eggshells and different things, guys, just to get the soil ready. And the soil is nice and rich and moist. So we're gonna cover it up like this. After I plant everything, I'm just gonna come through with a hose or turn the sprinkler system on for like 20 minutes, just give it a good soaking. It's evening now, so evening time is a good time to do it so that they kind of have and water it in well, so they have a little time to recover before the morning heat. All right, so these are bushing ones. I'm gonna put 2 bushing ones here and then plant the other 2 elsewhere. But I'll come back after I do everything. All right, so I got done before nighttime. So let me just walk you real quickly through and show you how I laid it out and show you that there is some kind of method to the madness. So um the sun rises and hits all these beds in the morning, right? So for the ones that I put the cucumbers here, and I put them directly on the drip line, directly where a hole is, so I know it will be getting direct water because they need a lot of water. They don't particularly like their leaves wet, so I moved it far from the overhead sprinkler but close to the water. Most of these plants don't like their leaves wet, but some of them do get the leaves wet and they're fine. Cucumbers don't. So I have these furthest away, but they're getting direct sun because they are fruit and they're right on the drip line, so they get the water they need. Then right beside it, at least directly behind the old Scotch bonnet, which I may be pulling out, I put another Scotch bonnet right here. And it's a little bit yellow now. Tomorrow I'm gonna probably give it a drink of some fish emulsion. I'll probably give all of these a drink of some fish emulsion. I haven't done that in a long time. Plus that will get these leaves green. So I'm gonna feed it fish emulsion, but that's one Scotch bonnet behind the other Scotch bonnet and in front of all these tomatoes. Then directly in front of the tomatoes, I have a bell pepper, and then I have a couple aloes beside it. That won't affect it in any way. Right beside it, I have several scallions, which were there before, but that helps with the pest, with any pest pressure. Have another Scotch bonnet here. I have a very tiny pimento pepper here, which I don't think is gonna make it, so I kind of put that in the corner. If they grow, fine. But then the larger pimento pepper, I have it right here. So that's pimento, Scotch bonnet, and another tiny pimento. If they all grow fine, they'll do well. Again, they're in the full sun. Then over here, I did have a few large ant hills on either side. So I didn't plant anything too close to the ant hill. I'm gonna have to pour some hot water and treat this. But in this bed, I had some mint that popped back up from last year. And I had the Thai chili pepper and lots of carrots. So I put, and there was another Scotch bonnet hidden here. This is a little Scotch bonnet from last year. So what I did was, I have the Scotch bonnet here, pepper here, nasturtiums, which will help with the pest pressure. So I put directly behind the nasturtiums, I put a Bahama goat pepper. So right now it looks like it's hidden, but the carrots are going to come out very soon. So then that's going to have full sun. The nasturtiums are trailing down, so it won't affect this getting the full sun. So far, everything that I planted are fruit and they're all full sun. Then the front side of this bed, of course, I have my tomatoes on this side. I didn't put anything in this bed, but right here, 1, 2, 3. I put 3 bell peppers here. Nasturtiums were already there in the middle. Carrots in the back. Carrots will give it some shade while these get established. Then we harvest the carrots. So these are going to get a lot of full sun, which they need. Over here, bell pepper again, and then a jalapeno pepper. So here, most of the tomatoes are right here. So the sun is going to come over and hit these peppers that are right here. So these will get full sun. I was really torn about where to put the hot and spicy oregano. So because this is pretty well draining soil, I'm going to take a chance and stick it here because oregano is supposed to help with the cucumber pest. So the oregano is right flanked by the 2 bushing cucumbers. And it's right in between the tomatoes, which will eventually go away. Then we'll have the bushing cucumbers. Back in the back, I didn't put anything and I didn't put much mulch because there's tons of mustard, bok choy and chichimisai coming back. So I will probably take all these and put a lot of greens in the back. So, it's called succession planting, but I didn't actually plant them. Then more green onions here, which would help with the pest pressure. Green onions, Jamaican oregano, hot and spicy oregano, all this will help with the pest pressure. Then of course my beautiful carrots, which I didn't realize are fully grown. Look at the size of this, guys, fully grown. So these are short and spicy, so they're not gonna get, short and sweet. So that's as long as they get. So this is fully grown. So I need to harvest some of these carrots I have carrots over here. I have carrots all over. That's how I like to do it, guys. I put my stuff all over. Then over here, I have my cabbages, some more scallion. I have um my lavender, which is looking really good. So lavender is Mediterranean, and so is thyme. So I put the thyme right beside the lavender. It doesn't get any overhead water. It gets a little bit of drip irrigation, but because the lavender is doing this well, I'm sure the thyme will also. Um, Also, it gets a full sun since there's nothing here. If the blue butterfly pea comes back, it'll give it some shade, but hopefully it'll be established by then. So that's it. That's it for the video, guys. I'm going to be planting corn and my favorite of all time, okra. So you guys be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see if you're interested in seeing me plant corn, okra, and a few other things. I can't even remember, but more planting is coming, guys. Oh, and I have a whole lot of trees to plant. This is a black tea plant that I need to get in the ground. That is a purple grape vine that needs to go in the ground. And I'm going to be planting my loquat this week. So be sure to keep an eye out. These are loquats, several loquats planted from seed. But the biggest one is going to go in the ground. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Till next time. Bye now.